All right, we're back. I'm Andrew Baydala. That's Blake Mitchmore. AEW Dynamite is off the air from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Mercedes Mone with the sacrilegious line that she's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. That is reserved for one man and one man only, and that is Bret the Hitman Hart. The Owen has completed. The 2024 Owen Cup has completed, and I hate to say I told you so, but I'm going to tell you I told you so. Bryan Danielson is your winner for the men's, and Mariah May is your winner for the women's. And holy shit, Blake, I'll be just completely frank and honest with you. That Dynamite from top to bottom, maybe besides that, what was it, that 6-man thing or the 4-way, whatever the hell it was?
Global Combat, stupid, whatever the hell they called it.
That show was on fire. AEW is doing some good creative stuff here right now on Dynamite.
Yeah, it was a very solid show tonight, top to bottom. Yeah, I agree with you. That 4-way, I could give a shit, but other than that, it was a really solid show.
The chat's on fire. Let's see what we got. What an ending. Joel Haywood, what an ending is right. Mariah May with that bloody visual. The turn happened. I thought maybe they might do something, next week or maybe 2 weeks before Allin, but man, did they just hammer that one in. And right now, Mariah May and Toni Storm is off to the races for Allin.
I knew something was happening when it was main eventing, but I will say for me, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was Toni turning on Mariah, so I really liked the ending of the show tonight.
I liked how this was opposite. I liked how Toni didn't get the upper hand on Mariah and be that like dastardly, cowardly heel. I think this was unique. And I also think it's Mariah beating Toni to the punch, because I think Toni would have done this maybe next week or weeks leading up to it. So I think Mariah just jumped the gun. But I love it. I love where they're going. What a way to start Dynamite. What a way to end Dynamite. Dynamite 250 is loaded, making me want to fly to Little Rock. And with all due respect to Little Rock, I have no interest in visiting or vacationing there, but holy shit. I mean, that show is stacked. Dynamite 250 has Okada and Swerve in a champion versus champion match. Titles are not on the line, ladies and germs. And MJF and Will Ospreay. Wow. For the international championship.
Little Rock.
It's 250 though. This Dynamite was absolutely fantastic. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, you're on Tony's payroll. I'm not. This show just absolutely hit for me. It absolutely
You're not on
hit.
Tony's payroll. You're on Nick and Matt's payroll.
No comment. Show was awesome. Let's talk about how this show started, Blake. Okay. Let's talk about that. Will Ospreay comes out. MJF challenges. They accept. We're off to the races. I did not think this match was going to be made official for a Dynamite. I am happy it is. They're going to build towards Allin, but it seems as if MJF and Will might have different opponents at Allin.
It definitely seems that way as of right now. I don't know what MJF would do if it's not Will. I mean, if it's Daniel Garcia, miss me with that. Sorry to all the Daniel Garcia fans out there.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it definitely feels like with the Global Combat 4-way, whatever they called it, that they are going in a different direction. Can somebody listen? I'm gonna preface this before I say it, because Will Ospreay could kick my ass up and down. But can somebody tell Will Ospreay how to dress, please?
So you're not the first person to like DM me and be like,
stop pulling your socks up over your pants.
That's just his look. So
well, it's a terrible one.
But I had somebody who's in the wrestling business DM me, and they're like, what shoes is Will wearing? He's like, you're not even like a sneakerhead and you got better shoes.
I don't care. He doesn't have to be into sneakers. He doesn't have to be like, bro, just don't tuck your pants into your socks.
Corey Saunders, the man, front row with me at Forbidden Door. What's up, Corey? Had I known Corey was going to be home tonight, we could have made this a trio. Yeah. I found out late, didn't have time to edit the graphics, but
I don't know
Corey,
what that is, Jay. What's a chat?
Me either, Jay. You're going to have to, us blokes here in America have no idea what that means. Good Dynamite tonight. I agree. Will and MJF, a lot of people are online. We're like, this match isn't going to have a finish. They're not. No, this. You think this match actually happens? Yeah. It's AEW's MO. They don't ever advertise stuff that doesn't happen, truthfully. I mean, don't get me wrong. We saw one beatdown, I believe, when MJF and the Devil stuff was going on. That's because Max was hurt. So, I mean, you're going to get this match. I would like to see a rematch at All In, but it seems like we're headed in a completely different direction. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, for me, I hope it ends in some kind of finish that leads to a match at Wembley because, again, I just don't care to see Max and Daniel Garcia if that's where they're going. And no offense to Pac, but Pac and Ospreay doesn't move the needle for me as much as MJF and Ospreay does.
Well, what happens? Let's just put this in perspective. And Nicholas, 100% with you. I'm going to get there. I'm going to light everybody on fire tonight who says that AEW doesn't have stories. I can't wait to see if the people that normally crap all over AEW do it again tonight. And they'll tell you 47 times up from Sunday why they aren't media credentialed because they're not smart enough. They don't listen to us. And we don't have to do that. You want to know why? Because we are media credentialed. But what I will say here is that anybody who tells you AEW doesn't have stories is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they are on a writing tear, storyline tear, in my opinion. And we'll have to wait and see. So is WWE. Don't let anybody fool you. The two companies right now are doing really good business, and it's so good to see. I know AEW's attendance isn't where they want it to be. WWE went through this as well. But, man, the stories that AEW are trying to tell, and they're weaving them in and out of these storylines, they're on a creative high right now, in my opinion. So
they're doing some of the better work, or some of the best work they've done in a while, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this, right? Let's say that Ricochet's coming in. All right. Let's just say that. Let's play the hypothetical game. And let's just say we get MJF and Ricochet at All In for the international title. Or maybe we don't. We just get MJF and Ricochet in a match. Maybe we get Will and Pac. Or maybe we get MJF and Pac. And then we can have Will and Ricochet have their singles match with no title attached to it, no championship. Because I do believe that Will needs to get away from this international championship. I think that there are bigger and better things for Will. I understood why he won it. I get it. I understand the possible plans they had for Will in this championship. But do you think that on the monumental episode of AEW Dynamite 250, that they could possibly drop the championship to MJF, and MJF and Pac can have a match in London where, Pac is from the United Kingdom?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible, and that match. I feel like I'm just absolutely shitting on Daniel Garcia here, but that match is a lot more appealing to me than Daniel Garcia and MJF. I think that is a way to put Will and Max in matches that are somewhat high profile, that do not, if they're not fighting each other. But I don't know. I kind of got my head around. He did miss last year's All In, Corey. They talked about that tonight on the show.
Yeah, and I think giving him an international championship match against Max or even Will is a big thing for Pac.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're obviously going to give Pac. They wouldn't have given him the mic tonight if they weren't going to give him a big match. That's listen, we got what, 7 weeks, 6 weeks until
it's the end of August 25th, I believe.
So 6 weeks until All In. We got plenty of time to build something. Right now, I think Will's going to be fine, whether it's Pac, whether it's Max, whether it's Ricochet. I'm a little curious what they're doing with Max as of right now tonight, based on the fact that they're doing that match next week.
Yeah, I do not want to see MJF and Daniel Garcia at All In. You want to do that in Chicago, by all means, at All Out, fine. That's fine.
Not your biggest show of the year in women's
No. And, Tony talked about that. I asked him a question, and he talked about how that is the biggest show that they've ever done, and they're looking to continue to do that type of business there and everything else. So I think if you're going to have MJF, and MJF cut that promo at Double or Nothing, and it was very much like, I'm Mr. AEW, all this other stuff, I'm here. With all due respect to Daniel Garcia, it's just not the time right now. And if they do go that route, so great. That's them. For me, and they don't book for me, it's not really something I really want to see MJF in right now. MJF can win the international championship next week And I'm okay with him taking on Pac at Wembley because I believe Pac's going to get that victory. And I think they give him which has been in the chat. I don't want to steal it from somebody. I did think about this before somebody said it, but they're going to give Pac and I believe Mariah May the Saraya moment from last year.
And that's the thing with Pac. I mean, even though maybe Pac's not, from a storyline perspective, not on that level right now, it's going to be a moment in Wembley you're going to see it in Pac's face. You're going to see it from the crowd because Pac's a London kid. And listen, Daniel's great. Daniel's a great wrestler. Just for me, I don't think Daniel's at that level yet. They need to put some more behind him and invest in him some more before you start putting him in pay-per-view matches with Max.
Yeah, and here it is. It's Nicholas, and I agree with you. Nicholas said another Saraya moment where MJF drops to a hometown hero Pac. Yeah, it's possible. If they keep the championship on Will, which is fine. But I think there's always this monumental moment. Tony likes to have big moments on his 50th, 100, 250, 200, whatever the episodes. He likes to have a big moment. MJF winning a championship would be a big moment, especially when you kick the show off that way. And again, you look at this show, right? We want to talk about ratings and all that other hubbub and hullabaloo and hogwash. We can.
But I will tell you, they're trying to pop a rating next week.
Yeah. And how dumb are some of these people on social media? Like, go stack marbles on the freeway. What do you want AEW to do? You want AEW to just pack it in and be like, we're going to save everything for pay-per-view. They're getting off pay-per-views eventually anyway, probably in the next 2 to 3 months.
Well, and listen, this is what you do. I mean, WWE's done this in the past too when they've hit those milestone shows. They've had big Raws or SmackDowns when it's that milestone number. I mean, it's just what happens. I mean, it's a milestone number. They've done 250 shows. So, I don't have a problem with it. I want to see what the finish is, and I want to see where we go next, but I don't have a problem with them pulling the match out.
No, and there's a lot of things going on in the wrestling world right now that AEW needs to get some momentum back their way. Stephanie Vacourt is headed to World Wrestling Entertainment. Monumental loss. I said that today on my video. John Cena is retiring. You want to talk about, and we're going to have a show Friday. Hopefully we can get all the boys together and do a show. But we're going to talk about Cena and his retirement and what I think it means. But man, WWE has got the headlines. And now you do this, right? You put Danielson and Swerve in the main event at Wembley. You get MJF and Will Ospreay on the kick. They're going to open the show, 250, Dynamite. You have this massive turn for Mariah May. AEW is pulling a little bit of that buzz back. It's still very much in WWE's favor and momentum.
It's Big Bang Theory leading the show tomorrow night because we know that's going to mean, or next week because we know that's going to mean ratings.
Right. That's all. That's all we have here. But the big thing here, and great point about the ratings, AEW will continue to try and put out the best weekly episodic television for ratings because the NBA just completed their deal with NBC, Amazon, and ABC and ESPN. Okay? That's done. Massive deal. So there's a lot of money right now for Warner Brothers Discovery to throw into professional wrestling that is live 52 weeks out of the 52-week calendar year. No other entity is like that. So just saying. I want to thank the over 400 people watching us live. Thank you very much. Again, always humbling, especially I took 12 days off, as Blake likes to say, to what was I doing?
Celebrate America.
Celebrate America. That was it. Yeah, I attended Forbidden Door on Long Island with my main man, Corey. It was great to do that. And then I headed to the lake for a week-long celebration of my wife's birthday and the 4th of July. So it's good to be back, and it's good to be wanted to be back. So thank you very much for that. All right, Danielson and Hangman. I want to say this to you, and I want your opinion on it, because the women did something different. I was like, okay, good. They're not telegraphing this. And this is maybe just me either overthinking it, or maybe it's my good eye. I don't know. Only got one of them. The winners of the Owen seem to be dressed in pink and black tonight, just like they were last year.
Yeah, true.
Just saying.
I thought to that effect, I thought the women's match was nice because effectively
Willow had the Owen.
Willow was dressed like Owen. Mariah was dressed like Brett.
Right. And it was still pink and black. That's what the Hearts wore. So we saw, Cole and Britt do it that one year they won it. I believe Willow did it last year when she won it. I even believe Punk and Starks were both in pink and black last year. So I'm just saying, when I saw Danielson in the pink and black, I was like, But then we had everybody on social media Corey Saunders, I celebrate American Toronto can. That is the most un-American shit I've ever heard, but I still love you, dude. He was at Money in the Bank, everybody. So don't relax.
I wouldn't blame him if he celebrated in Canada these days anyway.
Mm-hmm. Not this show though. Not the time or the place.
No.
But yeah, so Danielson comes out, then everybody on social media is all up. Well, Nigel's on commentary. Nigel and Daniel are facing each other. Bryan Danielson are facing each other at Allin. And listen, would I hate that match? No, God, no, I wouldn't hate that match. But Nigel hasn't wrestled in I believe
42 years.
It's been like 10 plus years at this point. It's probably even longer. Truthfully, I'd have to go look. I believe his last match.
The last time I remember him wrestling was when he was
TNA
run.
Right. So I get it, and Nigel can go. But Nigel, unfortunately, had to retire due to some things that I'm not going to talk about. And I just never saw this being the case. I think a lot of people worked themselves into this match, and it was ridiculous. Now, could I have seen Hangman win this? Absolutely. There's a story already written here with Hangman Page and Swerve. But realistically, they are telling multiple stories here at once. Danielson, which a lot of people got on me, that's not true. Bullshit. Danielson is retiring. Okay? Done. So this is his last stand, right? And Swerve and Hangman hate each other. And Hangman's going into blood and guts now. And so is Swerve. There's no doubt about it. So they have another there's no stories. Now there's what? Too many stories? Go stack marbles on the freeway. Danielson winning this was the right call, in my opinion. I love this match. A lot of blood. That's fine. That's what AEW is known for. And we're headed to blood and guts. Whatever. I don't mind this when it means something. When they do it every week, it sucks. But match was great. I'm not quite sure. We needed Jeff Jarrett in this, but I do like how they involved him. But we're headed to Wembley Stadium with Danielson and Swerve. I think it's the right call. Blake?
Yeah, they made the right call as far as the winner. Not only for Allin and the story you can tell with Danielson, because like you said, he's not retiring, but he's gonna work a extremely small schedule moving forward. So he's not going to be on AEW TV regularly moving forward. He might wrestle a couple times a year for, Allin or Double or Nothing or something, and that's it. The Jeff Jarrett thing. Listen, I was on this show multiple times saying, what are we doing with Jeff Jarrett? Why is Jeff Jarrett in this tournament? I still didn't care to see Jeff Jarrett at 57 be a major player in AEW or wrestle. But they invested so much time into Jeff leading into this tournament. I don't understand what the fuck we were doing with Jeff losing in the first round. I don't understand why we decided as a consolation prize, Jeff, you can sit there at the end and you can sit there in a chair and watch the match at ringside all night. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. It seems like Danielson not going to work blood and guts. Love that. I think Jeff Jarrett's getting involved in blood and guts. It's Nashville. I think Jarrett could be on Team AEW. I know a lot of people are going to moan and groan about that, but he's got a little beef now with Hangman Page. Again, I'm with you. The biggest thing here for me was when Danielson got into this tournament, I said it. I have the receipts. I said Mariah May and Bryan Danielson are winning their respective brackets, and I got a lot of shit from people. Okay? But we'll put that aside for now.
The Danielson winning the tournament was done by the first promo that he cut about tournament this year.
I agree. And a lot of people did not recognize that. When I saw that, I was like, oh shit. And then we saw Jarrett's promo, and that was another oh shit moment where I was like, Jarrett.
I thought Jarrett was getting to the finals, but he would lose. But
he's going to right, exactly. He's going to the finals. He's going to lose depending on his first round opponent. Now, I called you immediately after Hangman Page, or I texted you after Page showed up on Dynamite, and I was like, he ain't winning. And he being Jeff Jarrett. But I thought that was a miss because I thought you could have had, which we talked about, you could have Jeff wrestle in the second round at Memphis. In Memphis, at
Especially
Collision.
If Hangman's not winning the tournament. What?
Right.
Why did Jeff? Now, if Hangman wins the tournament, I get it.
Yeah, we're going down a rabbit hole here, but I think what we're trying to let everyone know is that I enjoyed the story they told in this whole tournament. The reason I thought Danielson was going to win is if he lost tonight, what the hell is Bryan doing at All In? What is he doing? You got to kickstart an angle real quick. And enough with the Japanese, the New Japan. Enough with the New Japan guys.
See the BBC in a 6-man.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I mean, Bryan has not held a title in AEW, and that's by design. Bryan didn't want to, but now it's time. I'm sorry, everybody. It's time. I want to say Blake said this first. Maybe it was a combination, but Danielson winning it All In and dropping the championship at Wrestle Dream, I would love it. I would love it.
One of two things is happening. He's either winning it All In, dropping it Wrestle Dream, or he's losing it All In and saying if he can't beat Swerve at Wrestle Dream, he'll retire.
Yeah, something like that.
One way or the other, that's the end. That's the end of his full-time run.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's in Seattle or Tacoma, which is where he grew up. Swerve's a Washington kid. So, I mean, it makes sense.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Swerve lose to Danielson last year at Wrestle Dream? I believe he did.
Shit, I don't remember.
That was the night Copeland debuted. I believe he did. So what I'm saying here is that there's a story into a story into a story. And Hangman Page and Swerve, they can pick that up at any given moment. They got it right here, right in the palm of their hands, right? They'll be fine. Danielson winning the world championship would be monumental. It's the word of the day.
Swerve and Hangman are both in their prime. They're going to be around for a long time. They can be your whatever feud you want to say.
It's time to capitalize on Bryan Danielson.
They could be your version of Orton and Cena back in the day. They could fight 972 times over the next 10 years.
Yeah. Danielson gets his major moment at Wembley Stadium. He holds the championship for 2 months, and then he's gone. He could go home, spend time with his kids when they go back to school, and then he could do the whole agent stuff, producer, whatever, if he chooses to do so. But Danielson needs to win the championship. If it doesn't happen, okay, but at least we're giving him the big stage, the big match at Wembley, and he's in the main event. Last year was Cole and MJF. This year, it's Swerve and Danielson. It's a big fight feel. And Swerve, you love him or you hate him, but he has delivered in his matches as world champion. I will not listen to anybody else tell me he hasn't. I was there. Both times, he delivered.
Yeah,
he delivered.
I'm fine with it. I have no problem with what they did. Hangman, we don't need to go back to Hangman and Swerve immediately.
No, it's sitting right there. They could always go back to it. They don't need to put every gun in the chamber and blow the load there. FTW World Champion Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree, taking on Samoa Joe in a Stampede street fight. Jericho drove Joe through a wall on a
Broke the wall
forklift.
Down, bro.
Yeah, there you go. See, somebody else picked up on it. I love that. And also, Jericho kind of looked like Clockwork Orange shining Chris Jericho, like he almost was snapping, which was interesting. Very interesting. A lot of people moan and groan about Chris Jericho being on television. I get it. I think this will lead to something. I don't know what we're getting, but it's going to maybe something at Wembley. Jericho's going to be a part of All In. If you don't think so, again, go stack marbles on the freeway.
I mean, I'll be honest. I thought this was stupid until the ending. The ending saved it for me because of that. Okay, Chris is showing some kind of psycho side now. He's not just being the annoying, motivational speaker guy. He's showing a different side to this character. Where do we go next? So, I mean, it was fine, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around what Joe's doing right now because 3 months ago, Joe was the world champ.
That one's a head scratcher for me too.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to wrap my head around it because of that, but yeah, I thought the ending was great. I mean, I thought the actual visual of him running the forklift through the little cardboard wall, and then
hey, at least they made more than just, and there were people sitting back there. It wasn't just he threw him through a random, because when it happened, I was like, oh my God, I hope there's other people back there. I hope there's a table and chairs or something, because this looks ridiculous. So they did do that.
Yeah. Well, and they drove through the wall, and then for a second before they drove through the wall, and Chris, I'm sure, told Joe to jump off the forklift, and
well, yeah,
look like you got thrown off.
Hey, don't give away all the secrets, dude. Damn.
But they, I thought the little character tweak that Chris showed tonight was good, and something that probably is, even though the learning tree stuff doesn't bother me the way it does some people. I think it's not really getting a lot of steam either, so it's probably something that's good for the character.
Yeah, the snapping of Chris Jericho, I'm here for it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm here for it if that's the route they decide to take. It seems as if we're headed somewhere. I don't want to see Colt Cabana involved. I like Colt being backstage. I like that they showed him on camera, but I don't know how he would get involved here in this. So, I just want to mention I love Colt. Colt's a good dude, but
there's only one match you could ever sell me on with Colt Cabana at this point, and it's never.
And it ain't happening
because the other guy's in WWE.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to sell me that match? I'm in for a Colt Cabana match.
I'm in for 5 rounds in the octagon with that one.
Yeah, but the other guy works for another company now.
Yeah, and listen, I'm a CM Punk guy. I think he'd beat the shit out of him, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it'll ever happen. Let's talk about, the Global Glory 4-way. Pac wins. He gets the international championship title opportunity. It was a good match, but I get
we just have a 4-way? Why do we have to call it the Global Glory 4-way?
Global Glory. Yeah, well, whatever.
Come on.
Congratulations to Pac. I want to see who he faces at All In. He's going to have his moment. Let's talk about what we saw. We saw Darby. Darby's back. I mean, this show was stacked, and then you have a returning Darby. They hung this man upside down. He's back. Darby Allin's back in AEW. It seems like he's going to be a part of Blood and Guts. It seems as if he'll be a part of Team AEW, and maybe he's going after the TNT Championship that Jack Perry holds, which is interesting because I like what Jack's done recently. I will give Jack credit. I do like what he's done, but Christian and Copeland elevated that championship, and Perry needs to be very careful going forward on how he positions this championship, because it needs to be kept in the same prestige that these two men who came before him. I'm at a loss for words, because Christian really put this championship on the map. Copeland held it up, and I'm not quite sure what Perry's doing with it. Truthfully,
so much so that you bought their planking gimmick.
I didn't. Well, yeah.
Oh.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Listen, it works. I love it. I use it every other day. It helps the core. And you know what? For all that stuff, that pure plank stuff, I was just like, planking's garbage. Get out of here with it. And then I did it, and I was like, holy moly, this is no bullshit. So Darby Allin's back. It seems like we're getting Darby and Jack at All In, maybe the TNT title.
I would assume Darby's in the Blood and Guts match, because so he can do something stupid and hopefully not break something again, or dive through a pane of glass, or whatever the hell Darby does.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll be in Blood and Guts so he can take some kind of asinine bump, and then
does Jack Perry drop the championship for fantasy booking here? I think that's what everyone's going to worry and wonder about. Is Jack Perry going to be a champion for 2 months? I say he doesn't.
I think it's fine if he does, with what they did tonight, even though begrudgingly potentially adding Hangman back into the Elite, if Hangman's going to go after Swerve after the Danielson match.
So I think that, to your point, I think that championship needs to remain in the Elite. And I think if he wins at Wembley, he being Jack Perry, fine. Run it back in a gimmick match in Chicago, and then you can have him. And I know it's like 2 weeks later, but at that point, you could possibly have him drop the championship. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, people are going to hate me for this. I don't really care.
I get you.
It's not something that is Darby and Jack doesn't move the needle for me very much. So, but I could see Jack losing. I could see Jack win. It all depends on where you're going with the Elite storyline, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And before tonight, the Elite storyline looked like it was on life support. They kind of, got it back off life support tonight.
Correct me if I'm wrong. No Bucks, no Okada, right?
They were in the backstage segment with Hangman when he walked by. But other than that, no.
Other than that, nothing. I mean, it was just a backstage visual when Hanger walked back. Yeah,
but they did major work to saving blood and guts this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because last week it looked like you were potentially getting the Acclaimed and the fucking conglomeration or whatever those three goofs call themselves. And now you still got Mark Briscoe in there, but you're getting Swerve, and I would be pretty confident in saying Darby will be announced at
Swerve, Darby, Mark Briscoe, and the Acclaimed.
Yeah, so Swerve and Darby make it a lot better. And Hangman going on the other side makes it a lot better. It's not, no offense to Christian Cage, but it's not Christian Cage, paying off his debt to the Bucks or whatever for his world title match.
No.
It's something intriguing because of the history with Swerve. So they went from, in a week, which was the big thing I was looking for tonight, honestly, outside of the Owen stuff, was tell me what you did last week with the blood and guts match was not where we're going. And it's not, thank God.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Let's talk about the main event. Willow, Nightingale, and Mariah May, the finals of the Owen Cup for the women. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this match and the ending, everything that took place here tonight on Dynamite was the second. It's neck and neck right now for me. That St. Patrick's Day Slam match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, and this match and the ending and the visuals, I think that might be two of the best women-produced segments that AEW has ever done.
It's definitely up there. I mean, the match was fine. The match was, no disrespect to either lady, but when I say this, the match was fine. It wasn't anything just amazing or spectacular, but the ending was perfect.
Let's just call a spade here. You guys and girls can jump all over me and call me crazy or whatever. A lot of things that happen bell to bell are good, but it's the visuals either at the beginning or at the end or a week later that really sell things and really separate the segment, the match, whatever, from everything else. So I'm telling you right now that ending was fantastic for me.
I agree.
The
blood,
the shoe.
Yeah. The way it was executed, like when they started to go up the ramp, I kind of like you said earlier, I thought, okay, they'll do something, in the next couple of weeks. And all along, I have thought, because Tony started as a heel, that it will ultimately end in Tony flipping back to heel and feeling like Mariah is trying to take her, spotlight because she's this timeless actor character. So the flip of Mariah and out of nowhere turning on her was awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't Tony. Everyone was expecting Tony to get jealous.
Well, and the way it was executed too, it was just like, oh, Mariah's running up there to she's running up there to grab the belt and start knocking bitches out.
Yeah. And again, they could have done a lot of different things. Like you said, they could have prolonged this. And like I said at the beginning, they could have prolonged this another week or two. I mean, we have like 7 to 8 weeks before we hit All In at Wembley. So they could have done something, but man, they jumped right into the deep end and they ripped that Band-Aid off and we're off to the races. And for me, it's a great way to go off the air on Dynamite. But again, I thought, they show the graphic and, Tony's proud, but she's got one eye on her and all that other stuff. And, may the best woman win. And then maybe Tony clotheslines her. But I never saw Mariah. I never saw this vicious side of Mariah coming out, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And the visual.
Hopefully this means that Mina will come back. They will dance and make out some more.
Oh, my God. Keep your pants on, you pervert.
I don't have any on right now. So
this show's over. This was fun. Listen, I could care less about that type of stuff. But I will say that
whether I have pants on or not.
You should always have pants on, you sick freak. What's wrong with you? God, this guy stinks. Hey, it is what it is. Listen, I am here. I hear you. I am a little too comfortable. I am all here for Mariah May and Toni Storm having a great match at All In at Wembley Stadium and Mariah May winning the world championship. I know a lot of people are going to be like, crazy. It's not crazy after what I saw tonight. not crazy what I saw tonight.
I will say that after I saw what I saw tonight, though, it makes me not 100% sure that she wins.
Maybe. So who would you rather have Hayter taking the championship off of? Jamie Hayter?
Is Jamie Hayter still alive?
I'm scratching my head on that one, my guy.
Like me some Jamie Hayter too.
I'd like to hear this was Mariah's plan all along, that she manipulated. That would be money too. That works for me. That works for me. Nicholas, I don't know. Talk to me about that one, brother. I don't know what you're asking. Listen, going to be a great match at Wembley. This show, from top to bottom, like I said, was one of the best Dynamites that I can remember in recent history. I cannot wait to go on social media and see morons bashing this. I'm sure they will.
People that watch our shows know that I'm not the biggest overall fan. Like, I don't glaze everything AEW does. I don't. They're just, outside of the global goober four-way, it's hard to criticize anything on this show.
Global goober four-way. Oh my.
The one thing I will say,
God,
which is something to watch, Mercedes, the Calgary crowd did not give a shit about Mercedes.
I'll be honest with you. Mercedes is a full-blown heel now. We could talk about that segment.
But they're not. They weren't reacting for her as a heel. They weren't reacting at all. If you go back and watch her entrance.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I was going to save this for a little bit later, but let's just go here and then we'll take questions because I think we're about that. We're not going to sit on here for 3 hours, ladies and germs. We're in and out an hour. I don't even like to do a lot of things for an hour, but this is something that I'll talk about for an hour.
Like
so
do a lot of things for 10 minutes.
Ladies, there you go.
Well, I'm single.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Let's talk about this. First of all, that's false. The person in the chat, I can confirm that's false. And I'm not going to prove to you why I know that's false, but it's false, or how I can confirm it. But Tony Khan is alive and well.
I didn't know Big Black Cox had a news channel.
Jesus, Blake, what? Are you trying to get us canceled, dude? That's British Broadcasting Company. You fucking moron.
Sorry.
Oh my God. All right. Well, this one's off the rails. Let's talk about Mercedes. Oh my God. Keep your YouTube search history to yourself. Anyways, Mercedes comes out to no reaction, and she's a full-blown heel now. I mean, no doubt about it. Britt comes out. I love Britt's aggression. Obviously, this match is happening at All In. Mercedes, like I said on my videos and like I'm saying right now, needs to just continue to embrace the heel because she is as arrogant as they come. So let's do it.
That's where she's best. And she does do a good job of that. I mean, she, from a promo standpoint tonight, I thought she was really good. And because I don't know Mercedes the person, but from a TV perspective, I feel like Mercedes is very talented at being unlikable.
Yeah, that's why I said she's got the arrogance oozing out of her. So why not?
So yeah, and Britt's doing a great job the last couple of weeks. I mean, so yeah, this is going to be. I mean, from a star power perspective, this is the biggest match that they can do.
Yeah. Yep. And she's rubbing elbows with the elite now. That's right, Jay. That's right. Might as well lean into that a little bit. I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. I want to acknowledge all over 500 of you that are watching our Dynamite post show. Always a blast to do this. Let's get your questions, your comments, and your concerns in right now for the next 10 minutes before we hop off the air. There's a lot of you in here, so ask them. I'm not asking for super chats. We're not doing that. You ask a question, I'll answer it.
If you want to give me money, I'll take it.
We might need money for you. We might need bail money for you soon. Jesus Christ.
How can I be on bail? How can I do anything jail worthy?
All right, we go to Jay first. Jay goes, have they sold you on this match at All In, Andrew? I thought it was too soon at first. We're talking about Mariah May and Tony. Yeah, they sold me. Absolutely.
Yeah, tonight sold. I mean,
if we're talking about Britt and Mercedes, they sold me too because Mercedes is just, those are two big matches for All In.
I agree. They have they have done that. Yeah, but I'm in for both matches because, like I said, Britain Mercedes is easy to sell. It's the AEW star versus the newest star that came in.
Yeah.
Britt's defending her own territory. It's
Yeah.
an easy sell. It's an easy story to tell. What they did tonight with Mariah makes me interested in this match more because it's a side of Mariah we have not seen yet.
Yeah, this is a brand new canvas for Mariah now.
Yeah.
Brand new. You thought they'd save that for next year or something, but I think they need. Yeah, listen, I believe I said Deonna Purrazzo and Mercedes. They obviously, and Blake was like, "Get the fuck out of here." And realistically, like Deonna's
some Deonna, but I just
Deonna's not there yet.
Not this show.
Deonna's not there yet, and I just didn't want them to blow through all the major matches. But I love this. Absolutely,
you have to think of this show. AEW has to think of this show in terms of WrestleMania for WWE. What are the biggest matches you can put on? Not what's going to be a 5-star, Dave Meltzer banger. What's the biggest? What's the show? What's the matches that you can put on that are going to make people want to go to the show and make people want to watch it? I mean, it's a stadium show. It's different. You got to put big matches on.
These are the attraction matches you need.
Yes.
Danielson and Swerve, attraction. Now you have Mercedes and Britt, attraction. Mariah May and Tony. Mariah May, the way she just ended the show, she's got a couple weeks. She's going to be an attraction in this match.
Well, and Mariah May and Tony's an attraction because Mariah May is going to be an attraction in London. She's going to get a freaking hero's welcome.
Yeah.
Even though she's in Dastardly Hill. No.
316 MMA says, what do you think about the big signs with WWE? We're going to talk about that on Friday, but I will tell you, like I said in my video, Stephanie Vacour is a massive get for WWE, and good for them to get her because I guarantee you, if I miss on this prospect, then I might as well just stop watching wrestling. I think Stephanie is going to be the face of the women's division in the next 3 to 5 years for WWE, depending on how long the contract is.
All you need to know is what they think of Stephanie Vacour is two things. One, they saw her on AEW show and had her signed within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can confirm a couple things
signed here. To the point where she quit CMLL in New Japan on the spot.
She asked for her release, but yes, you're right.
But she went. It was like that's how bad they wanted her.
I can confirm a couple things that I know the WWE was thoroughly impressed with the match that they saw, whether it was in person or it was on pay-per-view, what they saw from Stephanie Vacour in that match with Mercedes Mone on Long Island at UBS at the Forbidden Door. And I said the same thing. I said, Stephanie Vacour blew me away, and I've seen a lot of wrestling.
She was fantastic.
Yeah, she was. So
Mercedes is like, I've been on here.
No slouch.
I don't love Mercedes the way some people do. I think she's good, but where she shines is in the ring, and Stephanie looked better than her at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, Stephanie did, and it's not hard to. It's not easy to do. It's very, very hard to outshine a talent like Mercedes Mone. But I will say this: me and you talked privately this afternoon. I said this deal's done, and you were like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, the deal's done. She's going there." And then I think it was like a couple out, maybe an hour later. Shawn Michaels put out the tweet, and then we know it's official. Yeah. But you said to me, which I thought was very, very important, if Stephanie was even considering staying or signing with AEW, she has no need to get out of her CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling contracts.
When that press release went out, that was a dead giveaway that she was going to WWE because Tony works with CMLL and they're not gonna issue something saying she's off the roster immediately. They might issue something saying she'll work select dates in CMLL and still be able to work select dates in New Japan and CMLL, but no, that shit she's gone, like effective immediately. No title match, no tag title match she had. She's out. We're yanking her out of storylines today.
Yeah. Did WWE sign the Motor City? I have no idea. I would assume they're
Ciampa teased it, I think.
I know that they're still taking indie bookings all the way up until like the beginning of August. So Maybe. I don't know. Was shocked to see that Vacour signed with WWE. Thought she'd be in AEW. I wasn't shocked. What I was shocked at, and we don't know this. I don't know the offer that Tony Khan and AEW made to Stephanie, but if it was me, I would have offered her the sun, the moon, and the stars. WWE did not do that. I could promise you that. They offered her probably good money and an opportunity. And maybe Stephanie's dream was to work for WWE.
Yeah, I would not say shocked. I will say I was surprised. If you would have asked me to put money on it a week ago, if she was going to go work somewhere, I would have said it was for AEW, not WWE.
Yeah.
So for WWE to swoop in and grab her WWE's working on some stuff. I know this is not a WWE show, but they're setting up their next generation of females.
Yeah. I will give you guys a little insight onto why Samoa Joe was probably written off television. If my memory serves me correctly, that Twisted Metal that he's a part of, that series, is resuming filming, I believe, this next coming couple of weeks. So that's why I believe Samoa Joe is off television. I see somebody asked about that. Her history with her ex had a lot to do with her going to WWE. Who's her ex? Somebody fill me in on that. I don't really divulge and get into people's personal lives. Who's her ex? First of all, who's the idiot that didn't stay with Stephanie Vacour?
Cloudy.
I got to see that. And there's no, don't say that. I could break this news too. It seems I don't think this is. I think this is official. I think AEW just put this up. Mercedes Mone issued an open challenge for the TBS Championship on her Instagram live stream for Dynamite 250. Anybody can accept it besides Britt Baker. Interesting.
So we'll see Britt again.
Yeah. Okay. Send it to me via DM. That's fine. Go for it. Listen. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my family.
You got 70 by core makes your pants go a little crazy.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying who's stupid enough? No, who's stupid enough to break up with Stephanie Vacour?
Like I said, I think Stephanie Vacour makes your pants go a little crazy.
No. Will Hangman be
listen,
I got pants on. We know you got nothing on. Will Hangman be the AEW champion this year, 2024?
I think it's possible.
Possible. Peter, do we need to go to Little Rock? I'm starting to think we do, truthfully. I'm going to see if I can get somebody to gas up the jet. That show is wild right now. Absolutely.
Little Rock's drivable for me.
How far is that drive?
I don't know. Let me hang on. 5-6 hours, I think.
Fuck no. 5-6 hours? I mean, I guess. I'm flying though. I'm flying.
Yeah, you live in Antarctica.
Corey, right? This guy's just a pervert.
What is he talking about?
You.
What did I do?
All right, let's get to one or two more questions here, and then we're out of here. 5 to 6 hours, nothing. You're not, Corey. You're not wrong, dude. You are well traveled. All right.
Yeah, Little Rock, 5 hours from me.
5 hours from me.
I ain't shit to do there, but it's 5 hours.
Got it. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Nicholas. If that is true, that's horrific and good for her. Somebody said that, and I don't know if this is true or not. If it is, Stephanie not going to AEW has nothing to do with TK fumbling, which I would agree with. The conversations
he rarely does when it comes to that situation.
The conversations I've had that everybody
he fumbles a lot of stuff, but it's usually not contracts.
Man. But he doesn't stop it. I will say that for the conversations I've had with people, they were very high on Stephanie. So I agree. They said that Stephanie was in a domestic dispute with somebody who works for CMLL or will be working. So, man,
Chris Jericho, probably.
No, it's not Jericho, dude. This guy's in jail. He's getting out. So.
Oh, she wants to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, and I don't blame her. I do not want we're not going to talk about this. I'm so happy for her.
All I'm going to say about it is based on the way she looks. I don't know that I'm fucking with her.
Yeah. I have a question here. Do you think that I'm going to say this out loud. Do you think that Natty Neidhart answers Mercedes Open Challenge? Why? I mean, if Mercedes was going to do the Open Challenge and Natty was going to answer it, why not do it this week in Calgary?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible because we've not seen Natty on WWE TV to lend to the fact that she's re-signed, but I just don't. If Natty is, and again, this could be the formalities of when she technically was free, but if Natty's completely free and clear, Natty should have been in the tournament.
I said that Natty should have been in the tournament if she was.
Yeah, Natty should have been. If she's free and clear, Natty should have been in the tournament. They shouldn't have saved her till after. Not to say you still can't do something with her after and make something work, but it's just a big miss. Have a heart in the freaking heart tournament.
Yeah. Let's see. Question for Blake. Blake, what's your favorite era in wrestling and why? Have a good night, boys. Thanks, Jay. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Nicholas.
I think I'd probably have to say the Attitude Era just because of it was just so much fun and you didn't know what you were gonna get from week to week.
So you're a Russo guy?
I mean, back then I was. And it's also an era that, the NWO era into the Attitude Era got me back into wrestling as a teenager when a period of time where I was not watching. So
it's funny you say that though, Blake, because for me, the NWO stuff was, I would say from 96 into 98, that was my favorite era of wrestling. That's really not the Attitude Era.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that because I continued into that once Steve and everything got Steve and Rod got rolling. So basically, a mixture of WCW's NWO and then the Attitude Era getting rolling with DX and Steve and Rock it was just what gets me from a wrestling perspective is, and part of the reason why I miss with AEW sometimes is wrestling matches for the sake of wrestling matches don't do much for me. I can respect it because it's a hell of a craft and they're a hell of athletes, but wrestling for me is you tell me a story that makes me want to watch those two fight.
Yeah.
AEW's doing, like you said, AEW's doing that right now in a few things. They made me want to watch Mariah May and Toni Storm fight tonight. They're making me want to watch Britt Baker and Mercedes fight. They
almost make us want to go to Little Rock.
Yeah, they're making me want to watch Will Ospreay and MJF fight. Okada and Swerve is kind of hey, you want a match? I want a match, but it's still gonna be a really good match. So they're doing that now. So that's what gets me into wrestling is, it's a beaten down cliche term now in 2024, but storytelling. Wrestling is about, I don't care to watch a wrestling match every single night. Give me a story that makes me want to watch that pay-per-view match that is supposed to be the blow off of your feud.
It's about moments for me.
That's a really good way to put it. Like, it's about moments, and they had a big one tonight to close that show.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. When you can have a episode or a visual resonate with people and it's like burning. Let's talk about WWE real quick. They ended the show with Rhea Ripley returning, huge. And now AEW does this with Mariah May, huge. Both two huge visuals to end the show.
And hey, NXT did it too with old Joe Hendry.
Yeah. A lot of people believe in Joe Hendry. My kid plays his theme song.
The top three, the three shows we've seen, we still got a couple more this week. The three shows we've seen have all been really solid and have all ended really well so far this week. It's not just, AEW's in a little bit of WWE shadow right now, but they're doing really good stuff right now.
I agree. I have a question for you, and then we can get out of here. Because you mentioned Steve Austin and The Rock, and I love those feuds as well. Which build was the best for you? Was it the 15, 17, or the 19? For me, it's 17 without a question. And what's crazy about that whole build, it was like 2 months, not even.
Yeah, 17 is the best just because of the promos, the backstage promos, and the Limp Bizkit video and the way they put all that together. 19 is really good, but 19 is also really good in hindsight because it's Steve's last match before 38, which I think makes it better. And I also that version of The Rock is my favorite version of The Rock of all time.
The 19 version, Hollywood Rock?
Yes, where he would come
That's
out
a good
and
one.
but yeah, 17 where Steve cuts the promo, and talking about how bad he needs to beat Rock. That's 7. You can't beat 17. 15 is good, but it's not,
I need it, Rock.
Steve was in a bad spot. Steve missed, wore a t-shirt out there, didn't wear his vest.
Going through a divorce.
Yeah, so that was 17. 17 is the best to me of those 3 matches.
I need it, Rock, more than you'll ever know. Yeah, with him and JR backstage with Rock, it was that sit down title in the middle of them. It was great.
Yeah, no, that piece of business alone would make me say 17.
Yeah. Last question here, because we have about 3 more minutes. We're getting off the air. Do you think an opportunity was missed with letting Jeff Hardy go? I think him in Blood and Guts would have been something crazy. All right, I'm going to give you the skinny here on the Hardy Boys. I have a lot of respect for Matt and Jeff. Tons of respect. I love what they've done. I'm thankful for what they've done for the wrestling business. AEW had big plans for them, in my opinion. When they signed them both, they had huge plans for them. Jeff, unfortunately, had a situation that derailed all of that, and I think that was it. I think the trust was lost, and then that was it for them. AEW just couldn't really get behind them anymore because you put the tag team titles on them, and then what happens? We don't know, So do I think the opportunity was missed with Jeff? No, I think it was unfortunate circumstance with Jeff and that potential tag team championship run, which we could have possibly seen Christian and Copeland take on the Hardy Boys one more time. We're never going to get that now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the opportunity was there to do something more with the Hardys. Jeff continued to have his problems. And when Jeff has to go away completely for a few months to get right, everything moves forward. And that's not just in wrestling, that's in any business. If somebody has to go away,
stops don't work.
You don't come back to what we were doing that day you left. It's okay, you're back. Where can we fit you in now? And it just didn't work look, that Matt and Jeff, I feel a lot of way about Matt and Jeff that I do about Jeff Jarrett and we talked about this with his potential run before he got dumped in the first round. I don't really care to see Matt and Jeff anymore. As for me, if they're healthy and want to go make money in TNA, Indies, all that stuff, more power to you. I will never tell anybody to stop making money. But from a fan perspective of just what I don't care to see, the one thing I would say that for me that it would be left for Matt and Jeff is go back to WWE, do a Rumble, do one Mania match, and go into the Hall of Fame.
I think we got the best version of the Hardys when they came back, like you could have in terms of a return at 33.
You're never beating that moment ever. There's nothing they could do that could ever beat that moment.
No, and I think the one match that everybody really wants to see is Edge, Christian Copeland against the Hardys, and we're just not getting it.
Yeah. No.
So
I think Matt and Jeff just need, Matt posts about he's having fun in TNA and Jeff's there now.
Good.
So let him do that. Let him do
and make
that,
their money.
Let them do that, and then when they're ready, go do a final couple of shots for WWE and go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, make your money. I have no issue with that. Go make your money. You always should. All right, Blake, where can everyone subscribe, and follow you? Right there. Right there. Make sure you follow him at Blake Mitchmore. I am at Andrew Baydala right there. We will be back Friday. We'll be talking more professional wrestling. We're going to talk about John Cena's retirement, the tour, what I think it means. We're going to talk about Stephanie Vacour, the signing, what I think it means, what Blake thinks it means, where we see that panning out. We're going to talk about Rhea Ripley's return, what that means for the women's division. Charlotte Flair's on her way back. We are on the road to SummerSlam. There's a lot of things happening in professional wrestling. Buckle the fuck up.
I think it means a big miss for AEW.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Bye, Jay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to all 600 plus of you. Thank you to Corey.
Everybody but Corey that was in here.
Love Corey. Corey's a good dude. Corey will always be okay in my book.
Yeah, that's your book. I have a different book.
Corey is A1 in my book for reasons nobody has to understand.
A 712 in my book.
It's terrible. Go Birds, right?
Well, you always say that.
No. You're not going to like revoke my invitation to your house when I come down for collision and
fucking say again.
All right, well, good night, everybody.